Screen, a new initiative that we do in collaboration with the Frankfurter Buchmesse, the book fair, with Moravian Library, who is now advancing all the authors from Czechia, as Czechia is the country of honor at the Frankfurter Book Fair, and also with the Czech book fair called the Book World, Svět, knihy. Those are our partners who have been helping us put together a good selection of titles that are suitable for adaptation, and I'm very happy to also say that we would not be able to do that without a kind support from the PPF Foundation, which is supporting our industry. But I'd like to invite Jana Sedláčková from the foundation to say a couple of words.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's a great honor for us to be supporting this new project that is completely in line with the strategy we have in the foundation. We aim to support the Czech talent with their goal to achieve international collaborations into more specific international scope of the Czech project. And we are supporting film industry for the 4th year now. We are also supporting Czechia 2026 with Moravian Library. We aim to really achieve a great attention to the Czech talent, to the Czech literature, and we are very happy that we can be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Jana. And now let's move forward. Let me invite a moderator who doesn't come from any other place than Frankfurt, Nikki Teron.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes. Yes. Do you remember the last time you did something for the first time? So this is it. This is the first time, our first edition of Book to Screen at KVIFF, after 1 year of preparation. And it's great to see publishing people and film people sitting together in a room, because it's exactly what our project is about. Bring you together, connect both industries, enable new collaboration, especially in Central and Eastern Europe. My name is Nikki Teron. I work in the international team of Frankfurter Buchmesse, Frankfurt Book Fair, with a focus on film partnerships, and I will be your host today. And in the next 70 minutes, you will discover 8 books that we have selected not only for their literary excellence, but also for their great potential for the screen. We will embark on a train journey. We will swim in a river. We will dive into the somewhat absurd realities of post-communist societies. And sometimes we will also travel back in time. And it sounds a lot, I know, but I can assure you it will be great. And you will want to hear more. And this you can do at the one-on-one meetings taking place today from 5:30 to 7 at the Hotel Carlsbad Plaza, just across the street. Yeah, and now we are starting with our first book. It's Playing Wolf, and I would like to invite Gabriela from Argo Publishing to the stage. I will sit here, and you will sit here. So, microphone? Yeah. I think it should work, yeah.
Hi.
Hello. Hello, Gabriela. So,
Hi, Nikki.
Playing Wolf is a novel by Zuzana Ryhova, published by Argo, one of the leading publishing houses in Czechia. And Gabriela, we all know this kind of city people deciding one day to move to the countryside in the hope of living a better life, right? Slowing down, close to nature, having more space for the kid and a garden.
Be free.
Be free, and maybe finally find happiness. And basically, this is the idea that the main characters, Bohumil and Bohumila, had, and this is also the starting point for playing Wolf. So tell us a little bit more about Bohumil and Bohumila.
Hi again. It's exactly as you said. They are a married couple, not quite happily. We can see or feel from beneath that there is kind of a problem which goes worse and worse, maybe some infidelity. But despite of this, or maybe because of this, they decide to move to a remote village to start a new life, give a chance to escape maybe the problems, and also provide their son, who is mentally disabled, a new place to be raised up, to be close to the nature.
So it's a new start.
It's a new start for all of them.
Yeah.
But
with some hope and
some hope, yeah.
But
it's a escape.
It's an escape, yeah. And it's a reset. It's a hope for a kind of a reset and a new start in their lives. But is this village as peaceful and beautiful as they expected?
Well, at the beginning, everything seems so poetic, romantic, challenging, promising. But slowly we can see beneath that the villagers are not as friendly as they seem to be from the beginning. The village is actually more boring. The forest is actually more mysterious and darker. They hear sounds at night and starting to be more and more kind of afraid and exhausted, and
there is nothing
like
in this village, right? There is not even, I mean, there is a pub that is really
there
disgusting.
Is a pub,
and there is not even a church, right? There is not even a church.
Not even a church, only a small shop, and everything was going on. It goes on in that pub.
Yeah.
Which is quite like coarse and harsh. And
so the village is not what they expected. The villagers are not particularly welcoming. The nature is hostile. There are sounds in the night. The house is very isolated, seems haunted somehow.
Yeah, I didn't mention that. They're actually a bit isolated from the village as well, which makes it even worse for them.
Yeah, so it's not what they expected. Why don't they run away? Why don't they go back to Prague? I mean, I would go back to Prague.
Well, they still have some hope, but as the time goes, they are more and more exhausted to go for another escape. And moreover, their son disappeared after one night. So that's what actually keeps them at a spot. They have to find him, they search for him.
Yeah.
Like for 3 days, desperately, no signs.
So first they look for him alone, right?
Yes.
And then one night...
they even ask the police, but the police, for some reason, seems to not to cooperate.
No.
And after all this experience, the third day, the villagers appear by their house. They are all kind of disguised.
Yeah.
And Bohumila and Bohumil are not quite sure if this is about help or something else.
Yeah, they don't know if they will help them or kind of kidnap them.
No, really, no, because they take them out, promise them to help search for the son, but after a while they separate them. And I don't want to spoil this, but
we need to spoil because the film people need to know the end. So, I mean, this is the way film people are. It's not book people. They need to know everything. So there is this...
Well, there is this moment where the first moment, which is threatening is when they separate Bohumila and Bohumil. And secondly, Bohumila is given this red hood and a basket, which reminds it of the Red Riding Hood story, which is kind of a line that is drawn during the whole
book.
And
there is this scene when the villagers start filming her, disguised as Red Riding Hood, walking in the woods at night, filming her with their phones. It's really scary, right?
Yeah, she doesn't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Whether she's about to be scared, whether she's threatened, or she
don't
knows
know.
nothing. And apart from that, she's really exhausted.
Yeah.
By the like physically, mentally, exactly. So.
But there is also this play with the Red Riding Hood tale, and this is this tale, this ballad throughout the book.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like what we call folk horror, right?
Yeah, it can remind of the Midsummer movie. It's actually the similar basement. They come to a remote place in the nature with the hope, but it
turns
just
out
go wrong. Yeah.
So,
and mysterious. And we don't know how it ends.
We don't really know how it ends. So stay tuned. Thank you very much. So
thank you very much.
Midsummer in a Czech village. Thank you. I can just tell you, in the end, there is a new couple arriving with their child, coming to the village. I leave it to your imagination. What will happen to them? So, and now I'm happy to welcome Nuka Gambashidze from Sulakari Publishing. So, and now we're talking about Cupid at the Kremlin Wall by Aka Mohiladze, who is one of the most widely recognized Georgian authors of our times. We're in 1939. Would you like some water? Yes. Yeah. We're in 1939 in Tbilisi, Georgia, and we meet Nusia, who is traveling by herself on a train, which was not that usual back then. Who is Nusia? Why is she traveling, and where is she heading to?
So it is the end of 30s. It means that the great purge of Soviet Union has ended, and it victimized hundreds of thousands of people. Musia is an ex-former Bolshevik. She is in her 40s, and she's traveling from Tbilisi to Moscow with the aim to go meet Stalin directly at the Kremlin, which seems very crazy. She's described as a woman of action. She's very stubborn, she's very headstrong, and she's on a mission to find and save her husband, also an ex-Soviet functionary who has been taken by the secret police and got lost. The fact that she naively believes that she can meet Stalin is explained by their past, because as young adults, they had a special friendship and even courtship, so she knew him before he became the monster that he is at the moment. So first of all, she needs to find her husband, but she also has a lot of personal questions to an old friend.
An old friend, Stalin. Okay. And tell us more about this train journey, because trains always go so good on screen.
They do, don't they? Most of the book is contained on the train, as she has very meticulously planned her travel to lose the trace, so she takes it in several parts. Mm-hmm. She takes a fake passport, the one of a friend who was also taken by the regime, who is a famous screenwriter, but she's now gone. Using this fake passport, she gets on a train, and it seems to her that everything around her is happening to sabotage her journey. The train itself becomes a small model of a Soviet Union with unnecessary commotion, with chaos, with, you know, the suspicion and the paranoia filled all around. She meets some people serendipitously from her past. She meets some people that she suspects are spying over her. And then certain people also on the train get restless with her presence there because they recognize her name, the fake name that she uses that belongs to a repressed, executed screenwriter. It becomes a pseudo-detective where she thinks that she's being watched, but actually no one is following her. On the contrary, there is actually a group of people on the train who are commissioned, who are sent on a mission to help her safe delivery to Moscow, to help her stay unnoticed, but she really fails to do that because she's restless and she exposes herself.
Yeah, and so on this train there is also film director Eisenstein, and Stalin, the good old buddy of Musia. So there are real figures, but it's a fictional work. How do history and fiction intertwine?
Yes, there are quite a few historical characters that have real prototypes. Some of them are Soviet officials, and some of them are actually filmmakers, like Eisenstein, and like Raisa Vasilyeva, who was a Russian screenwriter whose passport Musia is using, who was executed. She was shot dead in 1938 for Trotskyism. So it really shows the kind of toll the Great Purge and the repressions had on filmmakers and people involved in film. Because Eisenstein, the way he is portrayed on this train in this story, is very paranoid because he was once targeted by the regime and he thinks that they're watching him everywhere, wherever he goes and every time. Even though now, at this point, he has decided to sort of go along with the regime and he doesn't really risk with his creativity anymore. That is also very sad. And of course, the most famous historical figure in the book, Stalin himself, he's shown in two different lights. There is Musia's Stalin. He's young and hopeful.
The memories, the past.
Yes, Stalin from the past, who is still alive, you know, in her. She thinks that it's not lost, you know, something can be fixed because she can reach this person in the end. But she finds him as the dark dictator that he is at the moment. They meet in the opera house in the end, and he's sitting on the balcony in his private sitting area in the shadow, literally the shadow of his old self. The only thing that is illuminated is his mustache and, you know, the most famous part of his face. And he's talking to her, sort of like scolding her. And we find out that it was actually him who tried to watch her on the train. He sent some people without alerting the system because he didn't want to risk people knowing that he might have had such a friend in the past. He couldn't show any kind of human side that he had. But since Musia is exposed in the end, he doesn't risk anything else, and he just hands her over to the justice that Soviet machinery called itself.
So, no happy end, but...
Not a happy end, actually. It's but it is a story of stubbornness, and it is a story that inspires, you know, owning up to your mistakes, because Musia is a former revolutionary and she realized what kind of harm has it done, you know, the system that she created. So she's actually trying to repent somehow.
Yeah. Fascinating character. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nikki, so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the attention.
And now, from a train journey to a different kind of journey, this is the River Odyssey of Cora from Willow Meadow. This is an illustrated book that can turn into an animated film for the whole family. I won't try to pronounce the publisher's name, but it means Horizon. So it's the Horizon Publishing House from Poland, and we have the publisher here. Anna, please join me on stage. Hello. How to pronounce the publisher's name?
Widnokrąg. It's Polish, it's very difficult.
I'm sorry, I can't do that. So, Anna, the book introduces us to a hero that is very, very small in size, but overcomes the biggest challenges. And it's a beaver, if to be specific. So, tell us about Cora and her journey.
Cora is a female beaver. She's living a peaceful life with her family. When suddenly the powerful current sweeps her away, and then begins the journey, the unexpected journey of Cora. She wants to find her family, to reunite with them, but she's alone, frightened. She's lost, and she must learn to cope with the loss of her home, with many dangers she encounters along the way, and also with loneliness. And I think the good part of the journey is that she meets a lot of new characters. Yeah. All characters are very different. There are animals. Some of them become her friends, others not so much. But the most important thing is that for Cora, she's discovering for the first time by herself the world around. Yeah. And for me...
This is Cora.
Yes, this is Cora. And for me, there is a special meeting which is particularly important for me. It's a meeting with a female fox. Yeah. They have the same age, Cora and this fox, but the fox is already mother with a bunch of baby fox. She's living a different life, and Cora, till now, she was a child, so she's forced to grow up faster than she expected. She slowly lives her life, childhood, her life from the past behind. Yes, and she learns how to. She learns to understand the world, and both not only the world but herself. And this is what it's about, also.
So it sounds a bit like a coming-of-age story?
Absolutely. This is a coming-of-age story, yes. The journey of Cora, this unexpected journey, it's much more than a physical adventure. It's a journey of personal growth. Mm-hmm. She discovers courage, resilience she never knew she had. Yeah. She every challenge teaches her something new about herself. Yeah. So at the end of the journey, this formative journey, because it's a formative journey, she's no longer the same young beaver she was at the beginning. Yeah.
So, how? I mean, when we talked before about the book, you told us what you felt. What did you feel when you discovered Cora?
Cora. I think the biggest strength of the book is that everybody can identify with Cora. I know, this is the beaver. But we all, in some stage in life, we have to live our safe and peaceful childhood. So this history is like universal and very captivating. But also, the story contains a lot of references, very common references to myths, to cultural references, literary references. The obvious one, of course, to the title, Odyssea. It's the reference to Odysseus and his long journey back home. But you can also find echoes from Frodo, from Lord of the Rings, this book. And last but not least, I think it's the story of our neighbors, because beavers, animals, they are our neighbors. Sometimes they are small, like you said, and we don't notice them, we don't pay attention, sometimes we don't respect them, but this story reminds us that they are important, they are sharing the environment with us, they are important to us to keep us as human also. And maybe I would like to add something at the end. I would like to mention that in this story there are no humans. We don't see them. with one exception. There's a boy, a young boy who is watching beavers, watching a river. I would call him like a gentle, careful observer.
Okay.
And I think this boy, it's like a connection between this human and animal world.
Yeah. So really cherishing the nature, environment, and this relationship
This
with
relationship.
the wildlife around us. That's a great story. Thank you very much, Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, and I would say this was the first ever beaver coming of age story of all times. So, yeah. And now please welcome the one and only literary agent, Livia Stoia from Romania. And Livia, we will talk about Queen of Hearts by Julian Ciocan. Queen of Hearts is set in the Republic of Moldova in the post-communist transition years, and it centers around a figure named Nestor Polobok. Who is this Nestor Polobok, Livia?
Nestor Polobok is a corrupted politician, the chief architect of the city of Chisinau, capital of Moldova. And he's working at the city hall.
Yeah.
When he once comes home from his job, being very happy to be pocketing 3,000 euro bribe, he noticed a big crack in front of his big house. I forgot to say that Nestor Polobok built up his whole life on bribes.
Yeah.
So he noticed that crack, he twists his ankle, and then he is wondering why is that crack in front of his big house. He starts to have nightmares from that night on, that the crack will be bigger and bigger and will swallow the whole capital.
And this is what happens.
And this is what happens. Day by day, the big hole is bigger and bigger, swallowing houses, people, innocent people, children, etc. And he continues to have nightmares that the capital will be entirely swallowed. And he also sees in that big hole images of big disasters, like in a hell.
Yeah.
So he decides, because he continues to have these nightmares, he decides to go to a fortune teller to find out, to get help, to find out why is he dreaming such a thing, and why is that hole in front of his house.
And does the fortune teller help him? Or what does she tell him?
The fortune teller tells him that you have to find the Queen of Hearts, a woman that should give you redemption, should forgive you. If you don't find that Queen of Hearts, the whole will swallow the whole capital.
Yeah. And when does he understand who is this Queen of Hearts? Because he had not a few lovers, he had
plenty.
A bunch of lovers. Yeah. So
he starts on a quest to find this woman. So he meets all his mistresses that he cheated his wife with, and he asked for their forgiveness, and they give him the forgiveness. And then he goes to meet a woman who bribed him for getting some advantage, and he forgives him. And then he goes to his wife, which he cheated for 20 years, and she forgives him. And as you can see, he has to meet so many women, and he needs redemption. He needs their forgiveness, and he gets forgiveness from them.
But the
hole is getting bigger and bigger and swallows houses and people. So all of a sudden, he remembers that he once has been interviewed by a journalist fighting for corruption, and that to make her silent, he broke her camera. So he said, I have to meet Natalia to ask for forgiveness. He meets her. She doesn't want even to speak to him about anything. So he convinced her to pay her 2,000 euro just to listen his story. In the end, she accepts. She gets the money. She listens to his story. But then she doesn't want to discuss with him. I won't forgive you. You are so corrupted. I won't ever forgive you. He tries, he insists, but nothing happens. The hole comes bigger and bigger and bigger. So he finally decides to transfer half of his money to his wife, which he cheated for 20 years, and the other half to the journalist. And then he throws away in the big hole.
Because he has no hope, so he kills himself, basically. So this is not a happy end, but would you like to tell us a bit more about the tone?
But the story repeats itself. In a village close to Chisinau, the mayor comes home one night from his mistress, and he twists his ankle in a big crack in front of his palace-like mansion.
So the story repeats.
Continues.
Yeah. And what about the tone of the book? I understand Iulian Ciocan is one of the most successful Romanian language authors, also abroad, with translations in many countries. And I could read the book in German, I think.
In German, France, Czech Republic, Macedonia, Italy.
So what makes the book special? What is the tone of the book? Is it dark?
It's a bittersweet. It's hilarious. I really laughed out loud in every chapter of the book. The characters are built up so strong. They're very strong and very well built up characters, and very funny. And I think people from all East European countries could recognize their politicians into Nistor Polobok.
Unfortunately, everyone can relate to Nistor Polobok, right?
And the humor in this book is really unique I'm a hard reader. And I was just impressed by the humor, by the hilarious situations. Even if it's, of course, a dark comedy.
Yeah, a dark comedy, but very funny, and
everyone... a satire of the post-communist period.
So it could take place anywhere.
Anywhere.
Not only in Moldova. Yes, thank you very much, Livia. Thank you for the Queen of Hearts. Now I would like to welcome Benas. Where is Benas? Here. Hello. Please join. So, this is Aspic Bistro. Benas from Book Smugglers Agency, Lithuania. The novel was awarded as the most creative book in Lithuania. And it's a novel that was acclaimed by critics, but also quite successful in the sales. So it seems it hit a nerve, right? What is the story about?
This is a story that follows a young man that becomes the first of his working class family to graduate from the university. So a big achievement in the family, but even though he should feel successful and proud of himself, he's seen as a disappointment by his parents still, and they believe that the education only matters if it leads to a proper job. And he actually starts, he feels as a disappointment and failure too, to be honest. And what do you do with a degree in history that feels useless? And when you want to connect to the reality, well, you end up working at a bistro, a simple job.
Yeah, so a graduated student in history, starting working in a bistro. That sounds, until then, quite normal, let's say, but it's not just another bistro.
No, definitely not just another bistro. Its signature dish is aspic, where you boil pork for hours until it turns jelly. And it's a very harsh and almost Orwellian kitchen with very strict hierarchies, where everything is controlled and everyone knows exactly where they stand. And the protagonist starts or ends up at the very bottom of it, scraping meat off the bones and cartilage off the bones. And it's a very closed world with its where work is repetitive, physical, and survival matters more than comfort. And naturally, he wants to move up to become a head chef, but that turns out to be way harder than he expected.
Okay, but luckily, love comes his way.
Yes, he sees a glimpse of hope as he falls in love with Shakla, a pig farmer, and
a pig farmer, not a big farmer.
A pig farmer, and he believes that she could be his chance to inherit a bistro, so move up. And but there is a little problem, or a big problem, because after the wedding that they have, she turns into a pig. And probably that's not something you come across every day.
No.
But in this story, which is shaped by the Soviet past and the scars of it, this absurd feels absolutely normal. And eventually, his boss even tells him to kill the pig as part of a ritual in the kitchen, and to make the aspic dish out of it, or should I say, out of her.
Yeah. Okay, do you follow until now? Yeah. So he's a loser, disappointing basically everyone, scraping meat out of bones in a very weird working environment. He marries the love of his life, who transforms into a pig. How does that look and feel?
I mean, it's a very visual and self-contained world with its social rules, where dark humor runs through everything, and the protagonist doesn't seem to have any control over his destiny or fate, which for him is a struggle. And I would also call this as a black comedy.
Yeah.
And in that sense, it feels almost like a delicatessen movie, just set inside an Eastern European kitchen.
Yeah. So Eastern European delicatessen sounds good. Thank you very much. And now, a very special book, The True Way Out by Patrick Banga. I would like to invite Michaela to join me on stage. Representing Host, the Czech publishing house, and this is a very special moment because we are delighted to have him here in the room. The author is present. I'm a big fan, so I'm going to have my book signed afterwards. This is an autobiography that shows that hope and inspiration can lie basically in the most unexpected places, right, Michaela? And we maybe set us first in time and space. Where does this story take place?
Hi everyone, it's really a pleasure to be here. I'm a little bit of a nerd, so I brought some of the translations. The story of Patrick starts actually in the Prague's neighborhood Žižkov at the end of 80s, just a couple of years before the fall of the communist regime in Czechoslovakia, and continues into the very wild 90s in Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic afterwards. By the way, it's a very attractive location for movies. Žižkov district is very close to the Prague center. And back at that time, the Žižkov actually belonged to the Roma communities, to artists, outsiders who regularly gathered together to share life, to share a lot of Roma music, and also alcohol, of course. But also, at the same time, the Roma communities, families, they faced deep-rooted racism, discrimination at every possible level, segregation in education, police brutality, and poverty.
Yeah, this is really, I must say, you suffer with him when he describes being arrested as a kid on the street just because he's on the street with his friends by the police and...
not just because of it, but because he's a little bit different than the majority, right?
Because maybe his skin is darker or whatever. It's really hard. A couple of scenes in the book are really, really tough. And but can you tell us more about him?
Patrick wrote this book to describe his childhood and youth, surrounded by this racism, rejection, as you said, as from very early age, when the surrounding at school or the police actually tells you that you are a thief or that you belong to jail or whatever. So this is the very hard part, but it is also an incredible story where he is describing his way out of the misery, his actually life's journey that led him to become an esteemed journalist, an IT specialist, a great musician, and actually much more, because if you are following his story, then you have the feeling that he has lived until now like 5 lives within one life. It's quite incredible. And he made this by working very hard. As from the childhood, you see scenes where he is selling vegetables on a market because he got the chance and he grabbed the chance. He worked as auto mechanic as well because he didn't have the even chances, and he started here, but he got really good. And he was surrounded actually by also people that supported him. You see that he, as I said, he grabbed the chances. So his mother, for instance, worked or cleaned for a lawyer, and the lawyer likes him. So she gives him his first computer, which actually changes his life. Or later on, he has his girlfriend, first girlfriend, and her mother is a journalist and takes him actually to journalists, and this also changes his life. So he starts to be a journalist. She takes him to Montenegro, where he starts to actually write to the Czech newspaper what is going on there in 1991 during the war, where he actually works as a humanitarian worker helping the Roma communities. So this is an incredible story of a man who never gave up. And actually, although the whole world was holding him back, he always was fighting until now, for sure. You can ask him later.
Yeah, and it's very beautiful the way he describes how encounters make a chance, as you said, right? Every encounter he made, when it's not a policeman, when it's people working in the media, people working in different fields, believe in him, foster him, push him, and he take the chance. He also worked as a street worker, helping drug addicts, and also the scene when he sees old friends again who take hard drugs and try to help them on the streets. It's really very impressive. Also the way encounters can make a difference in such a life. There is always hope in the book and a very strong energy. But when we talked about the book, Michaela, you said first when you read it, it made you feel angry.
Yes, of course, indeed, it makes you angry if you read actually about a child being rejected or being put into a cell where there were really unbelievable scenes, shocking scenes, where the police actually used really brutality. That reminded me, I haven't experienced it, but I read about it, the 50s in Czechoslovakia, right? Against innocent people, police brutality. So that was, for me, like eyes-opening, where I meet, of course, minorities in Czech Republic, but you don't see what is happening behind the scenes. You actually, by reading this book, you might, or by seeing a movie, you might being aware of what is happening, and actually you see that this is happening until now. Yeah, maybe the police brutality is not like that anymore, but it opens the eyes and you actually find out that this is happening until now across Europe. So I think that this story actually educates you and makes you feel somehow empathetic or interested maybe in the problematic, because it actually leads this, what is happening in the book, it leads to a vicious circle, yeah, which is until now across Europe.
But,
yeah, exactly. It's not just this hard story. For me, and thank you that you almost said something, for me it actually is rather a very positive story. Thanks to this incredible journey that, as you said, it gives hope. It shows you that there might be a possibility how to find a way out. Of course, it's not for everybody like that. Yeah, he had also, Patrick, a lot of luck, yeah, and he grabbed the chances and he had the strength inside. But I think it shows that you can build life, yeah, even if you have very hard beginnings. And I am often thinking about a scene in this Montenegro that I mentioned, where actually, for me, at this moment, the story or Patrick starts to shine there. And the story gets really colors, yeah, for me. And that was like that with the first reading and the second reading as well, although there is this misery with Roma people, what they are experiencing during the war. He's helping, he's himself. Yeah, he doesn't feel the rejection finally, and he actually thinks that he could stay there. Yeah, that actually this could be his life, or he could move somewhere elsewhere. Just that his family is in Czech Republic, and the connection is very strong, so he goes back.
He comes back, and I think it's a book full of anger and full of hope. It creates empathy. I think it empowers people, and I think it gives inspiration, and surely Patrick Banga is a role model for his community today, right?
And it's full of music.
And it's full of music.
Yeah, which is great. It starts actually with the music, and there is music through the whole story, which is very nice.
Patrick, we need the soundtrack to your book, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now, let's move to our neighbors, to our Slovak neighbors, with František Malik, publisher at BRAC. And we will be talking about Zone.
Yeah.
And it's a graphic novel, the only graphic novel in our selection this year, about the superpowers of people who never really manage to fit in. You know this kind of people? Maybe you belong to this kind of people? They have superpowers. And what is the Zone?
Yeah, hi, thank you. Thank you for all the participants. You were really great. The zone is actually inspired by a real region in Slovakia called Gemer, which is like a really beautiful region in southern of Slovakia. Historical, really important, with great nature. You can call it like Slovak Tuscany. It's like really cinematic. But right now, actually, it's it's the post-industrial, you might say, and becomes one of the poorest part, as it usually happened in the post-Soviet countries. It's the poorest part of the Slovakia. So in the zone, also after the metal contamination, strange things are happening actually there.
Yeah.
Because not just the country is or the soil is spoiled by contamination, but also people living there, kind of. Strange things are happening to them. As you mentioned, I would say, yeah, they're developing or getting some superpower, maybe you can say anti-superpowers. Some of them can kill by the invisible becomes the really literal. Some the depression is hereditary.
Yeah.
And some of them are so unbearable they can kill you just by talking, you know. So better be careful during this presentation, because actually I'm coming from the region as well.
It's the region you're coming from,
Yeah,
so I'm a little bit...
That's my region as well.
I'm a little bit cautious with František now. Yeah, so how do we enter the zone?
Yeah, we entered the zone with the main protagonist, who is kind of a loser, comic writer, comic artist, you might say, living with by himself for many years, and his only friend is Eric, who actually disappeared, and so it starts a kind of like missing person mystery. So the protagonist is following his clue, and the only thing with what he left behind was one postcard, which leads him to a psychiatric institution. But who he found there, he's not actually Eric, but totally someone else. But he knows too much about Eric. So right now the thing is like not just like where is Eric, but who is this man sitting catatonic on the bed? Where is Eric, and what is actually the zone?
It's a mystery.
Yeah, it's a mystery. And then he goes and investigates, and he found a book seller called Welsh, and he is connected with a group of people with the superpower or anti-superpowers I mentioned, such as invisibility, killing with words, and this kind of stuff. And it's also another storyline in London, where the British intelligence also knows Welsh, but they know him as a cleaner. So they when they want to do these like clear job without any tracings, fingerprints, without any bullets. They called actually him
As a killer.
Yeah,
Let's as a cleaner slash killer.
As a manager of killers.
As a coordinator killer, yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of like this local story slowly merged to absurd international spy thriller, you might say.
Yeah, but it's quite absurd.
It's very absurd, of course.
So you need to be ready for a quite absurd setting. But what is actually the main theme?
Yeah, I would say, even though it sounds different, but the main theme is the friendship.
Yeah.
Like the main character is not trying to save the world. He's trying to save his friends who really like care the most about Eric, because he found his loneliness like interesting, and he doesn't want to cure him.
Yeah.
He just likes him as he is. And there's also one moment when he realized that of course he's a guy who is what he actually hated the most about himself, that like people avoiding him, like women are leaving him quickly, and every political party he ever voted for lost.
I know this feeling.
That's actually his gift, and he's like coming from the zone, and they say it in the zone that it is your gift. You are with us. You are a solinator.
Solitunator. Yeah. So it's about solitude, loneliness, depression, which is also because you said there is this metal contamination, but also depression. Yeah. People living in the zone are contaminated by depression and cannot also depress the others around. So it's so it sounds, let's say, quite dark altogether. But what's the tone of the story?
I mean, if it wasn't obvious from the first time that it's totally my fault as a presenter, that it's like a really humor story.
It's funny.
Yeah? This Daniel Meiling is a great writer. He proved it himself with many books, with many theater plays, such as Ucpaný systém, which is really popular here in Czech, and with his cult comic strips, Rudo, which is also very, very popular in Czech and Slovakia, and it was also translated around the world. So of course it's like it's witty, it's sharp. There's a one scene, for example, where the woman tells him that I don't love you, and he's like, you see, that's another thing we have in common. I don't love myself either. Many couples don't reach such a symbiosis and harmony after many years of marriage, you know. So you see, he's like really funny. There's these really funny dialogues. He's absurd. He's also melancholic. I might call him, maybe sometimes I'm calling him Slovak Woody Allen, but also from the better first half of his career. Yeah.
This one, okay. Thank you very much. So. Slovak Woody Allen. Or from the better part, so yeah, from the better part of Woody Allen. Our last project already. Time flies, no? Yeah, time flies. It's Amadoka by Sofia Andruchowicz. I would like to call Ivan. My dear Ivan, look at me.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here in Karlovy Vary.
Welcome. So, Amadoka. Sofia Andruchowicz is one of the most famous Ukrainian authors of today. It's an epic novel about truth, memory, transmission. It was translated into 15 territories. Ivan is the rights manager of Old Lion Publishing. And there is a publication scheduled for 2027 in UK and the US at Simon & Schuster's. So now side note for the film friends around us, selling translation rights to the US is mission impossible. There are less than 3% translation on the American book market. This guy made it, and so this guy sold translation rights to Simon & Schuster's. Right, so.
Thank you, Nikki. Yeah, first of all, we are so proud to have Amadoka and Sofia Andrugovic among our authors, and my work was just a teeny tiny job, and you know, that's the whole infrastructure. Thank you.
You're too modest, but okay. Congratulations. So, Amadoka is not a name, it's not a person.
Correct. It is the name of a lake, the legendary lake Amadoka, which was located on the territory of the western Ukraine, and it was supposed to be the largest lake in Europe. It's quite of the mystery, because it was first mentioned by Herodotus, and then it was in the historical maps until 17th century. Then it disappeared. And since on that territory there are still some kind of remainings, ponds and small lakes, so till now we are not 100% sure whether it was a mistake of cartographers or the lake existed in real and then disappeared through the time. But back to the novel, Amadoka is one of the key metaphors, and it's symbolizing erased memory, hidden or lost identity, lost generations. These themes are central in the novel, and since both personal and national memories intertwine through the main characters.
Yeah, and talking about history, so we're talking about Stalinist repression, we're talking about Holodomor, the famine, we're talking about the Holocaust, we're talking about the ongoing war in Ukraine. So basically, all the defining traumas of Ukrainian history, how do we grasp all of this?
Well, it's not an easy task, but definitely through the characters. Although the main events in the novel take place at the center of the big historical catastrophes, in my opinion, this is also a novel about love. Mm-hmm. And about how powerful and redemptive it could be, but also how dangerous and destructive. There is a main character, a young woman named Romana, and she claims that this disfigured soldier who lost his memory after being injured on the war in the east of Ukraine, that's her husband. So she decides to take him home from the hospital. And she believes that she could restore his memory by telling him his family stories and showing him family pictures. And this leads us to the small town in western Ukraine called Buchach, and the soldier's grandmother named Uliana, and her youth, love, or friendship to a Jewish boy. Actually, together with that boy, they went to find Amadoka. Mm-hmm. Then, during the World War II, most of the Jewish population of the town was killed. Uliana hid his friend in the basement, but she kept him there even after Germans left. Mm-hmm. And there's another one of the main female characters of the novel, Sofia Zerova, who has a lover, archaeologist, writer, and also a double spy, was a constant danger. So all of the characters in the novel, they lived during different times, but they're all very well connected, and they all have to create myth in order to survive.
Yeah, and it's really fascinating about the book that you read it and you never know what's true and what's invented as a reader. So it's really fascinating because it keeps you just packed, right? And because every story is told from different perspectives, different sisters. One sister tells the story, the other sister said, no, it was not like that, it was like that. And then, oh, this soldier, is he really her husband? Or is she kind of just keeping him for her? It's also a story of love, but also of power. Interestingly, in Abadoka, this man-women relationship, the women have the power, right, to save the men, to heal them, to tell them forgotten stories. But the stories, the perspectives are not aligned, and sometimes they even contradict each other. So which story can we believe?
Well, that's exactly the point. You cannot believe to any of them, but you listen them. And especially you cannot believe to Romana. She tells the story or creates them so convincingly. So she began herself believe in it and live by it. By telling the stories to the soldier, she gains an absolute power over the man, putting his identity like a puzzle. And that's actually another symbol, one of the main symbols in the novel, which was also shown on the cover, not here. Broken face, which refers not only to the wounded soldier, but also to the collective memory. I believe that Amadoka is also a novel about a society. It is about remembering and forgetting, and about the importance of these acts for every individual and every society.
Exactly. So that's it. It's an amazing book. You can read it in Czech, you can read it in French,
German.
You can read it in German.
Yes.
Soon in English, so it's a masterpiece. Thank you, Ivan.
I agree. Thank you.
So, this is the end. I hope you enjoyed the session as much as I did.